morning. We meet again in another car vlog. I want to speak and share with you on the life of Moses. We are still on the life of Moses. It could be part 3 or part 4 by now. I've lost count. That verse in Hebrews 11, that Moses chose to bear the reproach of Christ and to share in the afflictions of God's people. So let me just unpack this phrase, the reproach of Christ. Christ means anointed one, Christos in the Greek, or Mashiach in the Hebrew, the Messiah. What does it mean by Moses bearing the reproach of Christ? Basically, in the New Testament, Paul, I think in 1 Corinthians, claims that Christ was in fact the leader of Moses and the Israelites during their pilgrimage in the wilderness on their way to the promised land, because Paul says that the rock was Christ. Basically, Christ was leading them, Christ was with them in a kind of pre-incarnate form somewhat. Christ was the captain of the Lord of Hosts. He was their leader. So, bearing the reproach of Christ, Moses chose to bear the reproach of Christ. Quite often, first, obviously, from the Gentile nations, Pharaoh and the Egyptians and so on, they kept on saying that, who is this God of yours? I don't know him. Who is this Yahweh? I don't know him. And why should I let your people go? Why should I let the Israelites? They were basically laborers or slave laborers, or free laborers really, in the economy of Egypt. There was no reason why Pharaoh should let them go, but God intervened and through mighty signs and wonders until Moses had to Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. So in a way that Christ is being reproached. So reproach of Christ means whenever Moses is attacked by the Egyptian court, either Pharaoh or his officers and so on, or even the magicians, when he was insulted, when he was despised, it's as if Christ is being reproached. Christ suffers insults. So you have that verse in one of the Psalms. I forget what the Psalm number is. That David or the psalmist says that they reproach or they insult or reproach the footsteps of your anointed one wherever he goes. So either the nations, the enemies of David, they keep insulting David as God's anointed one, and in the sense that when Moses is being insulted or reproached, in fact, Christ himself is reproached. So Moses has to bear the reproach of Christ, basically by declaring God's will, being an instrument of God, mouthpiece of God, and basically 99.9% people don't believe. Even right now, if Jesus Christ would stand in front of people, or an angel of God sent by Jesus Christ, most people won't believe. That's the hardness of heart. But let me just develop this point. So when Moses led his people, he chose to bear the reproach of Christ, because really for throughout 40 years, almost non-stop, the Israelites kept complaining, kept reproaching Moses, even when he ascended to Mount Sinai, and they would say that, where's this man? Where's this man? And Moses is being insulted, being reproached. But as a matter of fact, God is being reproached. Christ is being reproached because of the people's rebellion and disobedience. So Moses, when he forsake Egypt, when he refused to be called the Pharaoh's daughter's son, when he forsook Egypt, he chose to bear the reproach of Christ, not only among the Gentile nations, but especially so among his fellow Israelites. They kept rebelling, disobeying God's commandments through Moses, and Moses basically have to bear with all the insults, all the reproaches, in the rebellion of Dathan, Korah, Abiram, the three leaders of Israelites. Basically